Hola everyone, Scotty here from Destination Open Road. I decided today, since the weather was nice, now it's changing, typical for Washington State, I would come to one of my favorite parks here in the Bremerton area. This is Nad Park down on the water. So I've been coming here for probably 45 years. One of my favorite little spots to come to dig clams, which we'll go down and we'll see if we can find some down there. But you can see through the years, it just gets worse and worse around here. The road has kind of sunk down, and they're really not going to come out here and fix it. It's just a small little inlet. Actually, this is Dye's Inlet. The property we have is directly in that area over there. And so anyways, I've been coming down here for years and getting clams. Today is not a great low tide to dig clams, but I'll walk down and see if we can find some anyways. This has always been my favorite spot to come and get them, but not today. One, I don't have a license to get them, and it's just too cold to be getting around in the water. We don't have to get in the water awfully that much. And the reason there's so many clams out here is this area has actually been closed for ever since I can remember. They've had this sign down here that's been here, and basically it just says that the shellfish harvesting is closed on this beach. Now, this is the state park. Just right on the other side of the park is personal property. And years ago, Terry's grandparents owned part of that property, and they sold to the neighbor back up here that lives right over here. So he's always let us come down here and get clams on his property. And you can see they kind of maintain it a bit, but the logs here, or the logs are pretty daggone slippery.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see.
I'm going to kind of show you this way as I get down so I don't eat it. See, so they don't really make it all that easy to get down here for you. So as you see over here, this is where they would bring in the military boats, and actually all that land over there is military housing now. So they closed this beach off for clamming because of environmental hazard, they say. Honestly, I've been out here for, like I said, 40 plus years. I've dug for many years, never once got sick. I really believe, and it's the story of all the locals and stuff, that they closed this beach for that, so that the pickers can't come in here and get the clams. That's why there's so many and it's so easy. I used to come down here after work with my partner, and we'd spend 20 minutes and get our limit, and they were good. But like I said, I don't have a license right now. That's $17.40 for a shellfish license, which actually is good for clams and crab, but the crabbing season doesn't open till July 4th this year, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be here in Washington State or exactly what we're going to be doing. So you can see the debris down here, because I think there used to be a bulkhead. It's always looked this way to me. I think they just dumped it down to kind of protect the erosion. And so just down past this bulkhead here was where Terry's grandparents had their property. And so we would come down, like I said, quite often and get clams in the season. Clamming season for us is any month that there is an R in that month, then you can go and dig clams. Basically it takes out the summertime, because what you don't want is the hot sun to be beating on the ground when the tide is way out, because the clams get, they get bad, or they get a poison, my guess. So Terry's grandparents' property was right up in here. And there actually used to be a cottage here, when they were all real little kids, they could come down to. And Grandpa wanted to rebuild the cottage, our little shack, and the county said, oh yeah, no problem, you can build, tear that one down. Well, when he tore that down and he went to get a permit, they said nope, the building is too close to the water, and the property basically isn't big enough to go back anymore because the road's right up there. So kind of a lost deal there. They sold this property, I think it was about 14 years ago, to the, like I said, the gentleman that lives up on the back. Really nice guy, and usually never minded if we came down here and dug a little. I don't know if it's out far enough to dig, but I'll just try with my bare hands and see if I can find some. You can see the shells all over, and I like to get to the places like I mean, you don't even, this is how much I love this place. See, look at, you don't even have to dig for them. They're just sitting right on the top. He's got his stuff in there. So it really doesn't take very long to harvest them. Boy, look how easy. I mean, they're just sitting everywhere. That's one of the easiest digging I've ever seen. But anyways, so these are little necks, or we call them butter clams. And this is a different strain of a clam, a little bigger. And I forget right off what those are called. But you can just see, they're just sitting right on the top. And I'm telling you, these things are excellent. I would take them home in the bucket, and I wouldn't even let them sit overnight or anything like that. We could cook them just after we got them back home. And boy, I'm wishing I would have bought, I didn't know they were gonna be this easy. I wish I would have bought my license or whatever to get them, but that's okay. Because Terry's, where we're at on Terry's parents' property, is over that hill, and then there's another bay like this, and then they're up on the hill on the other side. But look at them, they are just everywhere in there, man. And with the water being as cold as it's been, these things are excellent. Hey, look at them. Oh my gosh. And the reason, like I said, they're here is because with that sign down there saying the beach is closed to harvesting, they're not allowed, people aren't allowed to come in here that are the harvesters. As a private person owning the land, you can come down and do whatever you want. And that's why it makes it so easy here to get the clams. Now, on some of our other beaches, we have horse clams, and those things are huge. Those horse clams are huge like that, and they're really good, but usually you have to go down into the ground 1.5 feet to get those, and so you have to bring a shovel and go through all that effort. My favorite spot is just right out here, as you can see. And if you look around now, you can see how the earth or the ground kind of changes, and there's just not that many clams in this area. It's just the one little area here that has always just been so good to me. And I'm not sure if it's because partially the fresh water that comes down the hill comes right down this little creek down here. But anyways, I thought I'd just take you down here and show you what's going on. Get out of the house for a little bit. It was actually pretty daggone sunny just a little bit ago. You can see over this direction, you can see the clouds are somewhat separated and the wind's blowing this way. But the funny thing is, all the weather's coming from the north, and it is chilly today. I think I just seen it thing at the store, and it said it's 39 degrees. So now I am hungry for clams, so dang, I'm gonna have to get one of those licenses, and I'll come back. And this tide right now, this is low tide. I'm here exactly at the low tide, and it's a 4-foot tide. which kind of puts it in the middle. The last few days have been in the minuses, but the minus tides, sorry about that. The last few tides have been in the minuses, but they've been at 11 o'clock at night, and I'm just not going to come down here in the dark and wander around. Probably people wouldn't enjoy that much either. So this is the mid tide. There's two tides obviously in a day. Usually you have a low tide, and then you have a high low tide, and this is the high low tide. Because when it's a minus, you could dang near walk all the way across this bay. Well, you can, because it gets really shallow out there and stuff. That's why you don't see anybody's boats sitting along it, because at the minuses they'd sit on the ground, and with this kind of rocky ground it just tears the bottom up. So anyways, I don't know if you can see back in the distance. So our property's back over that way, and it's just amazing it's not that far away, but the amount of clams there are just completely different than it is on this little spot here. So this is my secret spot. I'm not telling anybody about, so just mum's the word. Now I'm looking over here. I didn't see what this thing is sitting here. I don't know if it's another safe. Looks like it's full of something. I don't know what it is. It is a safe. And there's a checkbook and things like that. I really don't think I want to touch it. And maybe I should call the police on this, because there's checks. I'm not going to show the people's names. Navy Federal Credit. What a surprise. I don't have a cell phone. We only have Terry's. So I think there's a fire department right up there. Maybe I'll tell them about it. That'll probably be the best thing to do. Don't want to touch it. Learn my lesson from the last one. Anyways, the tide's going to be coming in. I'll go up here and tell the fire department people about it, and maybe they can choose to do whatever they want to do. Boy, in all my life I've never come across a safe, and yet in the last year we've come across two of them. Okay, let's get back up here. Luckily the fire department's just up the road, and they can call the police or whatever. Like I said, I don't have a phone. I don't know. There's nobody here. Okay, that's a hike. Anyways, like I said, it says closed. Harmful chemicals. Now they keep that sign clean, but that keeps it all good for us. Okay, I'm gonna go up to the fire department and let them know what's going on. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Okay, I got here to the fire department. There's a sign that says parking for fire department only. I'm just gonna run in there real quick. I don't know where else to park, so hopefully everything's good. I'll let them know what's going on. All right, I just talked to Dan here at the fire department. He's gonna call CENTCOM, and they're gonna go down there. He kind of asked if I could go back down there just to point it out, because the tide is coming in. So I'm gonna drive down there and wait for him and point it out to him. Let's go back. All right, so I came down here, and obviously right now there's the policeman coming down here. So I'll go show him where it's at. They asked me if I had touched it, and I said no, I learned my lesson from the last one. So let me go show the officer. All right, so I walked down with the officer. He just grabbed the safe, and he's taking it to wherever. It was full of a bunch of personal information from one single person. Well, that's a hike up and down. Woo! Anyways, you never know what you'll find on the beach. Until next time, everybody, be good to each other, be safe, peace out. GoPro, stop recording. GoPro, stop recording.